we now come to the last session of the day, and this is going to be special. Our speaker is the man behind the summit who made this possible. As he says, learn, grow, innovate, and ideate each day and every day. This has been a driving idea behind the summit. The closest thing to a born entrepreneur, his session today focuses on why franchising is a great idea for India, why, as a business owner, you should think about franchising your business, or why, as a aspiring business owner, now might be the best time to invest in a franchisee and how to go about it. Please welcome Mr. Gaurav Marya.
Good evening, friends. This is Gaurav Marya. I'm the chairman at Franchise India and part of Action Coach India and Middle East team. Thank you, Satyam and Mansi and team at Action Coach India and our wonderful coaches. They were able to put this summit together. I'm not using the video while Alok said that you should use a video, but my internet is not that stable. So this is a great initiative. When we thought about this initiative, we were not too sure that how response would come, especially people are in different moods at this stage. While we're seeing a lot of webinars going on, our company itself is doing almost every day about 10 different webinars, different group companies. But I told Satyam that go out and reach out. I know the spirit of entrepreneurs in India, business owners are always wanting to learn. And we at our action coach has so much of content which we can share at this time, especially challenging times. And coaches are required for challenging times. And I'm sure all of you attended. I think there were 34 speakers who spoke, especially our rockstar speaker, Brad Sugar, spoke in the morning. And a lot of other speakers spoke in the 2 days, and about 1,000 odd people as delegates attended that. And I actually agree because Franchise India has been doing a lot of seminars across these last 20 years, and to get 1,000 people coming in 2 days in a conference, it takes the biggest convention hall, right? So we use one of the biggest convention halls, and maximum you can fill in about 750 people. So this virtual world is actually given us an opportunity to go much wider and much in comfort of people. They don't have to fly, they don't have to book tickets, they don't have to spend in expensive hotels. So it's a great thing. I think this would continue. This is a very favorable business change, which I think would continue. While I don't agree, I mean, a lot of people are telling me that now businesses would be done when out of home and they would not go out and people would shift. I don't think so. This 1,000 years of human nature would not change with 50 days or 60 days or 100 days or 200 days. The businesses would come back. All these businesses would see coming back. So Satyam wanted me to talk about franchising, which is easy because that's my subject for 20 plus years. And I will talk about that. And I understand that in the audience, we have business owners who would like to franchise their business, maybe some of them. And a lot of business owners might like to buy a franchise. So I'll split the discussion into these two parts. Anytime you have any question for me, you can write on a chat or send it to us, and we will love to answer that. But before I start, I'll tell you because what I've been doing last 25 odd days since this lockdown has started. And I'm talking to almost about 20 different business owners every day. While they're positive, they all are encouraging in terms of what is going to happen, and they're very positive about the outcome post this COVID-19, that the businesses would return back. But I still feel there is a little bit of anxiety, and this is rightful. Anxiety should be there, and we should all be, finding out answers what is going to happen. So a couple of things I've really learned, and before I get into franchising, I'll give you some of my learnings in this. And I've seen about 3 different recessions. The first runway is what I call the runway to survival. Because we don't know. Honestly, nobody knows. Nobody knew till yesterday that this lockdown is going to go at what extension, right? We still don't know. We still don't know that it's going to open up on 3rd, or it's going to be June, or it's going to be July. Hopefully it is 3rd of May or 4th of May. But if it is extended, what is going to happen? What is going to happen to your business? So unless and until you very clearly define your runway to this survival period, this is a period which I called a little bit anxiety and a lot of hold on. People just don't take decisions. And which is worse, anxiety is fine, but if people stop taking decisions, it's worse for economy, because they don't spend, they don't take decisions, they don't go out, make new contracts, and so on and so forth. And we call it, this is a very popular equation. We call it E plus R plus is equal to O. So I define E stands for events, R stands for responses, and O stands for outcome. So while we all have no control on events, events would happen in our life and we will have issues on that, right? And this is one of the historic events. It happens once in a century. So we have no control on that. But how we respond to this would really result into our outcome. As a nation, as individual, as business owners, how do we respond to these events? That's one of the points. So I call it in the runway, if you divide into 5 different things, the first thing I told when this lockdown started to my team, I said, focus on ECG. Like you do ECG on your body, do it on your business. Engage your stakeholders. Go and engage them ever before you did, right? Talk to them daily, talk to your consumers, talk to your investors, talk to your employees, talk to everybody connected in your business. So that's very, very important. Second is communicate honestly, openly, and effectively. Why I say honestly and openly? Because a lot of business owners don't really open up their problems. The first thing you should talk to is openly. If you don't have cash, you don't have cash. If you cannot pay salaries, you cannot pay salaries. If you cannot pay rents, you cannot pay rents. But you need to open up. If you just don't open up at this hour, you'll have troubles later. So I will say effectively communicate. And whatever you want to communicate, whatever the challenges are. And third is guide people around you. Anybody who's around you, please guide them. So this is the first rule of what I call ECG. The second rule is I call there's always opportunities in adversity. Find those opportunities. And recently, today morning, I read Hero Motors started this two-wheeler ambulances, right? And now they're going to make 60 of them. Now, if you look at the opportunity, they know they're going to shrink. They're going to shrink in selling motorbikes. But they found another product out of the factory. And I know if this product is prototype right, government of India would buy thousands and thousands of that, because in inclusive healthcare, you need these ambulances. So this is what I call opportunity in adversity. Find out what you can do out of your current resources, which can still make sense. Like we are doing, I created a paper called Bailout. I know a lot of businesses would like to go out of business. They would like to sell their business. We can still help them. So we have found our coaches are doing a lot of good job. They know people need them most now. Action coaches would be most in demand now because people need answers and they can give fantastic answers. So we are more aggressive, we're more active. So you need to find out what is the opportunity in university. Third point is reserve cash. Be shameless on that. Any money you have in your pocket, just keep it. Don't spend just because somebody is pressurizing you, want your money from your wallet. Don't give this. Reserve cash, you need it the most. Second is, but more importantly, reserving cash is fine, but you need to retain your customers. Sometimes, in the rush of that, we start losing our customers. Your customers are more important to your business. They will never come back if you don't honor them now. Fourth is collaborate and share resources. You need to collaborate with people and share resources. A lot of people have built extra capabilities. They don't know what to do with that. If you have some warehouse sitting with you, which you are using 30% and you 70% not using, reach out to maybe your competition and say, we can commonly use resources. I know the time where airlines last time was in trouble, Kingfisher and Jet Airways brought their ground team together. It was common. So they were sharing the resources at the back end. So they are more optimized, they're more efficient in business. And finally, fifth point is retain your A team. You will not be able to retain everybody if this goes prolonged, but you need to retain your A team. A team would bring your business back so quickly. You cannot lose them. You need to go down to a last mile to make sure that they are with you. So that's your, so to say, runway for survival. But then after this, when they open up, you will have another bigger challenge on your hand, which is what I call runway for revival, how you revive your business. And that normally takes about 90 to 120 days, even more. And you need to see that you have enough cash at that time to revive your business. The first thing you should get is get even good quality talent. I can tell you a lot of small businesses and business owners always lack that they don't have the best talent. You can get it now. If you get into that point, a lot of talent would be available. Collaborate with them. If you cannot hire them, then bring them as consultant. And that's why our coaches are there, so they can help you in terms of doing it. They're great talent. They've been CXOs of different organizations, large companies, and so on and so forth. So they have a lot of experience sitting behind them, so they can help you. So get a good talent around you, good mentors around you, good coaches around you. That's very important. Second, set your processes, because Indian businesses are very hard work driven. They're not very process driven. And I think that this is a time where in this revival period, you need to set processes, so you're better placed. Another thing which I have found in a lot of businesses I am advising these days, that they are very limited in their consumer base. This time around, widen your consumer base. You need to still go and open up market. Maybe people are consuming you different parts. So a lot of Indian companies never looked at going international. Spread yourself, because this is very unique. This is probably one of the only crisis which has hit the entire world. But normally crises are very geographical in nature, so they happen in one part, but your business can still be thriving in other part of the business, right? And that's how these large multinationals always survived. So this time around, when you get into that, widen your consumer base. Another thing which is very important in whatever the time of runway of survival is, that you need to fill the tank back. You need to get your cash flows back. You need to get your reserves back. And we all know as business owners how reserves are so important. And this time around, we cannot do the mistake. This is a time where we need to really promise ourselves that we'll get our reserves absolutely back in order. Finally, is that work with your key consumer base. All the big ideas always come from your clients, and your clients will tell you what they want and how they want to change in your product, what innovation your product or service needs to do. So work with your close clients. Start now and start working even more closely when you're doing the runway of revival. Work with them on a daily basis, improvise your product, and so on and so forth. And after this, once this is done, the first runway is done, the second runway is done, you will get onto the runway of growth. And that is a little more what I call 1 to 2 years. And that has to be defined in a little more deeper way in terms of what kind of growth, where is going to come. While I certainly feel, and that's my own opinion, and I feel that India would be one of the opportunity centers whenever this opens up. This is unless and until we do some bigger mistake, right? I think this time around, this would be a great opportunity, and I think everybody would agree with me that India would get his chance in the world economy. And this time around, we'll get a tremendous amount of opportunities at different levels. And I personally feel that the micro businesses will rise the first, and then you'll get to the medium businesses, small and medium businesses, and then the large businesses. This is how it needs to be coming back as an economy. But when it comes back, it'll be India this time. Now coming to franchising. Franchising is very old in India. It's not really a new subject. It's been started by big companies like Bata and so on and so forth. But the real franchising I personally saw was companies like IIT, AppTech, which is called the business format franchising, where you not only franchise your passes your product or service, but you give the business format, which how the business is done and conducted remains standard. It's very McDonald way of franchising. Franchising is great, and especially for current times. And I can tell you, in the 3 recessions I saw, every time the franchising was first to rise. And I'll tell you why this all happens. See around what is going on today. Where you would you put money? If you put money in the bank for deposits, you get nothing. Now deposit rates have gone down. Even if you have 20 lakh rupees lying in fixed deposit, you cannot survive your home. So it's not going to pay your bills. Where is the second option? Second option is stock market. It's unstable. It will always be. It's very, 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 very risky at this stage. Nobody would advise to go in stock market at this stage, unless and until you are a seasoned player and you know how to handle the day trading and so on and so forth. Third is property. Properties are lowest. You don't know it's hit the bottom or it'll go further down. So passive investment is not there. So people have to do. And the final thing is that there are no jobs, which is the worst thing. India would not have jobs for next maybe 18 months. So if you want to make some income, what are you going to do? So franchising would become a great option. People would become great operators. They would go out and start small businesses. And that's what happened in America in the after late 60s, when this huge depression happened. In 70s, you see that all Americans were out of job and they started doing these micro businesses. Somebody would start a donut shop. Somebody would start a a petrol pump, or somebody would start a small motel and things like that. And this whole boom happened on franchising. Now franchising is globally about $4 trillion. It's bigger than even the Indian economy. So that big this industry has become, purely because it employs micro entrepreneurs who start small businesses, hires teams around it, and these small businesses thrive. And they are very neighborhood businesses, and they thrive. And this is what exactly going to happen this time are also around. And you see, when this comes, people, when they need cash and they will start thinking about their career, they would start thinking about franchising, because franchising is much safer, because you partner with a great brand, you get systems, you get better economies of scale, you get a better supply chain, and so on and so forth. I also see that this franchising would impact both early stage companies. Early stage companies would franchise because they would not get venture fund. There will be issues in terms of raising capital, and neither debt or equity would be available. So franchising would become a great way for their expansion. And large companies, recently I was talking to, about 3 days back, I was talking to a very large company, runs about 250 stores. And a good friend of mine, and I asked him that, what is happening to your business? And he says, nothing much. My business would come back, but I would have a huge liquidity issue. And because I have so many stores, I have staff, I have a lot of inventory which I need to liquidate, and so on and so forth. So big liquidity issue. And so I told him that, one, do you not get the investor that easy at this hour? This is a life cycle of even investment round. If you want to do it, will take some time. But think over, if you franchise 25 stores out of your 250, you still sell garments out of these 25 stores. You will have lesser OPEX to handle, because these 25 stores would be handled by independent franchisees. They would pay the bills for that 25 stores, their rentals, their salaries, and so on and so forth. And your store is 50 lakh rupees, and you get 25 into 50 coming to your bank. So it'll bring a lot of liquidity for you. So he liked the idea. Now we're working on evaluating which stores we want to franchise. And I'm sure once he goes into this path, he might like to do even more. And he will like to bring the liquidity back to the business. So that is a strategy which large companies would do. You will see a lot of companies, large companies who run equity businesses, would like to franchise the business. So it is also a great time why franchising is good at this moment, because you'll get a new set of entrepreneurs coming in. And this time around, these entrepreneurs are operators, which is even great, because I see this now. I was talking to a coffee chain today. I said, the next set of franchisees are not the guys who would put money and hire a restaurant manager or a cafe manager and have 10 other people working. This is not the era. The next era is going to be where you will have a coffee shop run by a husband-wife team, and they probably would have 2 or 3 small assistants, but they would run behind the counter themselves. They serve coffee themselves. They're going to be great operators. This is the kind of a work we will see now. People would come and they don't mind working in their own outlets, and they would make it efficient. So now they would not only make money on return on capital, but they would also make money on, they would take return on their time. They would put their time in their own businesses. So this is going to be a great for franchising particularly. Another great advantage now is great locations. There is a journal report which has come in that 22% of retail and commercial businesses would go out of business, which means that a lot of real estate would be available in the market and it'll come cheap. The great locations you never got, you will now get it. So it's a good time from that perspective. I would rather say, if companies which have good model and they're positively impacted should become very aggressive. Say I was a pharmacy chain, I'll become very, very aggressive in the market, because I know I will get cheaper rentals. The rent was the biggest problem. In a business like pharmacy, the biggest problem was you had high rentals. I'll get very, very aggressive, because I know I'll get cheap rentals. I'll get it top locations in every market. So you need to see where your business is, and you need to place them into different sets. How your business is today. I mean, is it highly impacted, mid impacted, low impacted, positively impacted? And different strategies would come for all 4 baskets. And we are actually working with our clients and helping them in terms of strategizing in different strategies and so on and so forth. So if you are getting into franchising and you're thinking about getting into franchise, you need to divide into 4 baskets and understand what is the overall opportunity for you. Why people are going to consume your product or service, and which markets you need to go. And I place them into 4 different baskets. I call it overall, what is the opportunity assessment? What is your value proposition, which is the second part. Third part is, is your organizational capability ready to get that value proposition out? And fourth is, what should be a rollout? How you go and which markets you should go, and so on and so forth. On that, I built this theory in the franchising. If you want to make a note, you can. I call it a Picasso theory. Picasso was a great artist. He made the best masterpieces, and franchising is also a kind of a masterpiece. So, and that Picasso theory means the P stands for proof of concept. You need to have a proof of concept. You cannot just take an idea into franchising. That doesn't work. So you need to have a proof of concept, which is already making money for you, right? That's first part, that's P. Then I is innovation. This time around, anything which would lead the market is innovation. How you innovate. I've been telling a lot of companies old saying that this time around, people who would survive are not the smart or the people who are more intelligent. People who would do well are adaptable to change. So if you have that ability to innovate, you will do better in the current times. Third is capital. You need to have some capital. You need to support your franchisees, so you need to have some capital. C stands for capital. A stands for adaptability. Adaptability of your product is very important. I'll tell you an example. We are very proud of a company which we did in Bombay called Jumbo Vada Pav. Now, this is a great company. We started from the day one, and it is a great success in Bombay. But whenever we took this company outside Bombay, it didn't survive. Why? Because the product is great. We like vada pav because Indians like carb under carb, right? So we like that product, but it's a low value product. Nobody wants to buy a vada pav at 40 rupees, right? 50 rupees or 100 rupees, so to say. And only Bombay had this unique locations where thousands of people come out of these stations and they're hungry and they want that vada pav. And there is no place in India like that. So it was a very adaptable product and a format for Bombay, but it's not adaptable to any other market. So it didn't do well any other. So you need to see how your adaptability of your product is there for other geographical location. Then S stands for sustainability. Now I think businesses we are working at both at Action and Franchise India, we are working with creating a lot of sustainability. We feel that Indian businesses lack sustainability. They are not very future designed. They are not designed for handling any adversity. They're working very cash tight, right? So everybody works on a lowest margin. And that's why we were hit the most when demonetization happened, when GST happened, because we were only making money on taxations and things like that. So we were very tight businesses in India. So we need to really see how we improve margins, how do we improve our efficiencies and so on and so forth. Sustainability would become very, very important for businesses going forward. Scalability, again, businesses have to be designed to be scaled. I like American businesses because they think world. Anything they produce, they just take it to the world, take it to 100 countries. That's why they are such a large companies. That's why they're able to create that kind of market valuations. We need to really think like that. We need to think that how we bring products and services which are extremely scalable. Anything you do, I invested into a laundry business about 3 years back. It's called UClean. And I felt that why nobody did just simple laundries. And we started this business. We are now 200 locations all over India. And this is this simple business. It's just a laundry. And I feel that there are a lot of simple businesses, very scalable. I did a business which I'm extremely proud about 20 years back, which is called Ferns and Petals. It's a flower shop. It's just a flower shop, but it's scalable. Now it runs in about 300 locations, maybe over 100 cities. So this kind of business, you need to have that scalability in your mind. And finally, franchising brings great ownership. I'm a big fan of that. I feel that the best thing franchising brings to any business is ownership. If you have an owner who would do all out to make sure that he services the last customer, right? And that's where the strength is. And Indians are very hardworking. They're shopkeepers. They just sit for the last customer also. They will keep the shop open. So they are that hardworking. So Picasso theory stands for proof of concept, innovation, capital, adaptability, sustainability, scalability, and ownership. Now, what I see as the trends in franchising going to happen, I see a lot of new trends would come. One trend I see, a lot of property owners would not now to lease because they will not get attractive tenants. So they might like to be themselves franchising. So a lot of property owners would come into active businesses. I also see a lot of professionals now because franchising is now already at about a 30-40% people who are the first time business buyers. I think it will increase further, especially for some businesses. Like our Action Coach is a great franchise for professionals, people who have done C-level roles in organizations. They have led teams, they led structure. Coaching is natural to them. So this is where Action would get a lot of franchisees coming to them. But I see a lot of professionals coming in franchising, and they see their career being franchising. Franchising is like buying yourself a job. You get into business and buy yourself a job. A lot of low capex businesses. I think I'm telling all clients of mine, go and re-engineer your capex. Make it cheaper, make it affordable, make it simpler. People can get turnaround faster, they can recover their monies faster, and so on and so forth. So work from home businesses, a lot of work from home. I don't think that people are going to stay all the time in home. They would go out. We all love going out. We all love staying in 5-star hotels. We still love flying. All that is going to come back. But still, people would like, for a lower OPEX, they would like to work out of home. We will also see a lot of direct to home businesses. I would say from plumber coming to your home, to a gardener coming to your home, to somebody who's just pesticide service coming to your home. This all would be franchise. You will trust a quality operator in that. We just did with one of the big paint companies, a dial-a-paint franchise. You just dial a paint. If your son or daughter has spoiled one single wall, you don't have to wait for the next Diwali to get your home painted. You can just dial a paint and somebody will come and do your wall, right? So these kind of businesses would thrive. A lot of these businesses would come actively, and a lot of other service businesses would also come. So this is a little bit, if you want to get into franchising, do your judgment. And if you think that your product and service is scalable, then create your documentation, create your standardization, get your operating structures, your training structures, your legal contracts, everything ready, and then go out and franchise. And teams can help you if you want any help on that. But if you want to buy a franchise, this is my last part of the seminar. If you want to buy a franchise, I always advise 3 steps. And the step number 1 is do your self-assessment. It's very important. I have seen, if I've sold, Franchise India would have sold about 100,000 franchisees over last 22 years. And I found that if franchisees failed, most of the time they failed because they were undercapitalized. Because I see a lot of people do mistake. If they come and buy a franchise for 30 lakh rupees, they have 20 lakh rupees of their own, they borrow 5 lakh rupees and they manage 5 lakh rupees. They never have enough capital, and the businesses don't take off next day. And especially in the current times, it'll never take off. Today I had a call with a IT professional from Noida, and I asked him, what kind of investment you want to do? He says 50 lakh rupees. I said, where is 50 lakh rupees going to come? Because you're working in a job. He says, no, I have a friend. He's also coming with me. I said, still, 50 lakh is a big amount. He said, no, but we will take some loan. And he says, you're starting on a wrong foot. And this is wrong, because if you take loan, you bring in a partner who you know or you don't know, you already started wrong, and you will get undercapitalized very, very fast, or your cost of capital will be so high, you will never be able to pay back. Why are you shying? And if you have just 10 lakh rupees in your pocket and you're easy, and you have another 5-7 lakh rupees lying with you to support you in the difficult times or gestation times, that's good. Start from there. So we say, do your self-assessment, understand your cash flows, and at least in current times, have 6 months to 12 months of gestation capital. You need to have that kind of money if you really want to make a business. You might do it early. You might start making your cash break-evens in 2 months, 3 months. You're lucky. That's great. But if you still take 6 months, it takes 1 year, you still have money in the bank to support your business. That's very, very important. Because I feel that 60% of businesses fall in India, particularly small businesses, because they are undercapitalized. They never had enough money to support the business. Second step is, we call 3 steps of choosing a franchise. One is what I call information. Information is very important. Spend as much time. This is a great time. This is the greatest time. You're just spending time in terms of finding out opportunities. Spend as much time on finding information on different brands, different opportunities, their performances, their past franchisee performances. Any information you have for them, just go and find out that. Second is evaluation. Evaluate your opportunity which you selected, is it right for you? It is right for your skills, your time availability, your resources. Uh, it's right for your family. Is your family is going to be comfortable you doing that business? All that you need to evaluate. Third is negotiation. Negotiation is something which you should never shy away. Anything you do in business in your life, always have the hardest negotiation you can do. Negotiate to the core. So do it in order: information, evaluation, negotiation. And finally, I call the four fits, on which is actually I've been also in consulting, but good 15 years. And one rule I've realized, which has worked for me, anything I do, is this four fits. And which I also tell investor, whenever you're looking for an opportunity, always do these four fits. And all four are important, but one is critical. What is a strategic fit? Is the business which you're looking at is strategic aligned for you? It comes from your experience. It adds value to your assets or any other strategic fitment you see in that. Second is financial fit. Does it have a financial fit? Would it make financially your goals, financial goals are fulfilling out of this? Your aspirations financially are going to be achieved out of this business. Third is what I call operational fit. Some businesses are operationally hugely demanding. Is it going to be operationally right for you? And I know a lot of people just get too much, it's overwhelming for them in some businesses. I mean, like food. I see a lot of people join food businesses. They think that this is always wanted to do. And the second week, they are tired of it because they cannot handle the challenges of food business. You need to buy 500 things in the morning, cook them, service people, manage staff, all that challenges they're not able to handle because they've seen the business from outside. They don't understand how difficult it is to run to food service franchise. So strategic fit, financial fit, operational fit, and the final is a marketing fit. If you're not a great marketing guy, you don't know how to do it, you need to choose the business which is highly demanding in marketing. You need to be careful on that. So see, all four fits are important, but one would be very critical for you. You need to see which business you're choosing and what is the most critical fitment for you. So I would always say that this is not a time where you just jump on. This is a great time for evaluating what is right business for you and do your study and then make a decision. Whenever you make a decision, make an informed decision. Don't come in anybody's influence, including us, Franchise India, or anybody else tells you that, look, go and buy a franchise. Don't do your assessment by just we telling you. We are just telling what is available in the market. We obviously will answer questions which you would like. But you need to do your self-assessment, see and talk to your core advisors, talk to your law firm, talk to your chart accountant, friends, family, anybody, and take your informed decision. So this is a little bit from my side. I'm sure these 2 days have been very fulfilling, and our consultants, our coaches have been working very, very hard. I know they've been last 2 days only on the screen, helping each other, and they have actually worked extremely hard for last week or so. And I thank them, each one of them, because we have 24 of them now in India and in Middle East. And our community is growing of Action Coach. We welcome if anybody wants to be part of Action Coach team. We are more than happy to evaluate and discuss and share any questions you have. Satyam is leading that. He's available. The last is that we will like our coaches to work with you. If you're a business owner, you need help, don't shy. Talk to us, talk to our coaches. We are all the time available. We can do no obligation direct call with you to understand your challenges in business, what are your goals, what you want to take your business to. We'll be more than happy to help you in this hour. This is a difficult time for businesses, but we know this is a time where as a service provider, we need to stand by our business owners, help them at this stage, and going forward, we will be part of their growth journey. So thank you very much. Satyam, your final word for thanking everybody, and thank you very much.
Gaurav, hi, this is Ratish Pandey.
Hi, Ratish.
There are some questions that are coming in. So, okay, answer them?
Yeah, sure, I can.
Yeah, so
as many.
I think I'll not be selfish. I have also a couple of questions, but I'll start with the ones that the audience has asked. The first one is, if you say reserve your cash, so how does one take a decision to invest in a franchisee?
So good. So this is a good question. This a lot of people say franchising, buying a franchise is not a expense; it's an investment. So I'm not saying, I'm saying reserve the cash, but invest. No problem. If anything can yield better results for you, but don't do expenses which you don't need today. You don't want to buy a car. You don't want to buy. I'm not saying that a lot of people, automobile companies would hate me for this, but invest into where you can generate more cash, right? And this is a time where you need to do that. Again, I would not say just invest into a franchise without thinking. You need to make most important decision of your life. It's probably the second most decision after your marriage. So you need to buying a business is very, very important decision. And I would say do it very consciously. But whenever you decide and you feel that you're ready and you want to take that decision, take it extremely carefully and also reserve a lot of cash to support that business also. Hope I answered.
Sure, sure. And in interest of time, I'll just ask two more questions so that everybody can head home, and they're already home, but at least
they're already home and they can move from one room to another room, right?
So the question is, do you have a model? And this is a very interesting one for you because you run a lot of franchises. Do you have a model where you can create some kind of network where SMEs can collaborate between the franchises with you?
Yeah, so I'm working on a lot of models on how do we really create synergies in SMEs. One of the areas which my wife also leads entrepreneur. She spoke yesterday morning and she was telling me that I want to do an article. What advice you will give it to SME and how they should seek support from government, and say government has much bigger problem to handle. They are not going to come for SME. Forget about it. They have a lot of poor to support, and I'll be honest. If I were Prime Minister of this country, I would do the same. SMEs have to help SMEs. So this is the real fact in India is we are not a $27 trillion economy like US, where they can take out $1 trillion and put back in economy. It's not going to happen.
Yep.
So we need to support SME has to support SME, which means that we need to collaborate. So you need to find synergies between each of them and say, how do we collaborate? Like I was doing one model I'm working on. I work on a lot of food brands. These food brands are having a brick and mortar structure. So it can be a brand like a biryani something, and then you have Kake the hotel, and you have multiple of that. And I know future is not going to be a brick and mortar. It's going to be delivery. So today I was innovating a model where we can create a new brand where all these famous restaurant brands can come in as dark kitchens inside one kitchen. So the sourcing would be common, brands would be unique. You always wanted to order your butter chicken out of the Kake the hotel. The same Kake the hotel of Connaught Place would be there, and the Barkos Chinese would be there, and then this would be there. The brands you always trusted would there be in that round to unheard brands which you buying from Zomato and things like that. But the kitchen is common, and the resources buying is common, and economy scale is coming, and handling is common, and the spend on a marketing is also common. You have the same digital guy who's driving all the platforms and so forth. So this is what I call synergy and acting smart. So somebody has to take initiative in your business SME clusters to how do we all collaborate and how do we work with each other and able to make better efficiencies for each one of them.
Great answer. Here is the last question. Slightly cliched, but the question is more about, and I'm sure all the coaches that are listening to you would love to hear more about your thoughts as a master licensee for Action Coach. And those who want to join Action Coach, just a quick answer about what are your thoughts of Action Coach going forward?
So it's a biased question. So I'm a fan of Action Coach. I mean, I've been knowing Brad Sugars for good now 19 years, and I've been a big fan of what he's created. And I always felt that coaching was very important for India. SMEs lack mentors. They need coaches. They need guidance. They need regular support. They need to have somebody who they can bounce their ideas to. And and they're also not very qualified coaches out there. I was sorry for saying this, but not many people who claim to be doing this SME consulting and so on and so forth are very old school. So Action is cutting edge coaching. It's a top class company, runs in many markets globally, has a years and years and years of man-hour experience. And so I think this is been master licensed only for about a couple of months now, but the coaches we have are best in the league. And I will certainly suggest and advise every business owner to reach out to our coaches. And if you need any help in terms of your business, speak to them. They would obviously have some answers for it. And if you want to join Action Coach, or you feel that you are also one of the contenders to become a coach, not everybody can, but if you are somebody who have in you, then you can reach to Satyam, and Satyam would be able to.
Given the ongoing economic crisis, there was a lot of noise, chaos. There was not just news, but there's speculation. Naturally, along with the other sections of population, business owners were in distrust. We at Action Coach understood the need of systematic solutions and recovery roadmaps for business owners, and our community of experts came forward with enthusiasm. Business Risk Refined is our response to our economy in crisis, our attempt to give our shoulder to the wheels of economy and push it forward. Just to sum up the last 2 days, we have had 38 speakers, 26 expert sessions, 900 plus unique attendance from 10 countries. Our panelists have discussed various aspects of business, including cash flows and profits, digital selling, and the entrepreneurship journey. We have also touched base with Action Coach and engaging growth as possible business opportunities for you. That's the idea behind the summit, to make your priority, to make you our priority as you seek to improve your career prospects, grow your business, or just stay afloat in the crisis. The summit was organized to let you know we at Action Coach are with you in this. Please do reach out to us for any questions, any queries. Please follow us on the social medias to stay tuned for more. I thank all our partners, our esteemed panelists, and you for making this first ever Business Redefined Summit and on a resounding success. A few special mentions. I really want to thank the Action Coach Middle East and the India community. They have been instrumental support for us to put this together. With this, I say goodbye and wish you all a Godspeed. Thank you so much.